The village of Mthombeni sat quietly between two hills, wrapped in red soil and old beliefs. It was a place where the rooster crowed before dawn, where grandmothers ruled with iron tongues, and where every misfortune, every cracked egg, every dead goat, every sick child was answered with one word. Witchcraft. When old Baba Nkosi's maize refused to grow, the village pointed fingers at his neighbor. When young Sifo broke his leg falling from a tree, his mother ran to the sangoma before she even thought of a bandage. And when 3 children came down with fever in the same week, nobody said malaria, nobody said contaminated water, nobody said doctor. Among the villagers lived a woman named MaNdlovu. She was 53 years old, with kind eyes, and a laugh that used to shake her whole body. Used to, because for 2 years MaNdlovu's laugh had grown quiet, her body had grown thin, and her feet had swollen so terribly that she could no longer wear shoes. The village had a ready explanation. Someone is after her. Her late husband's family sent something. She stepped on something at the graveyard. MaNdlovu herself had begun to believe it. She had visited 3 sangomas in 2 years, spent money she did not have on herbs, rituals, and protective strings tied around her wrists. Each time she was told the witchcraft was strong. Each time she went home, and her feet remained swollen. It was in the month of February, when the rains were heavy and the roads turned to mud, that a car came rolling into Mthombeni. Out stepped a young woman named Lindiwe. She was 28, a nurse by training, and she had come to visit her aunt for the school holidays. She was sitting outside when MaNdlovu shuffled past, her swollen feet struggling against the ground, her face carrying the exhaustion of a woman who had been told her suffering was spiritual and therefore unsolvable. Auntie Lindiwe called out, "Please come and sit." They spoke, and when Lindiwe gently asked about the feet, the whole story came pouring out. Lindiwe listened carefully. She did not laugh, she did not mock. But when MaNdlovu finished, Lindiwe leaned forward and said something that nobody in Mthombeni had said to her in 2 years. "Mama, this might not be witchcraft. Your body is telling us something. We need to let the clinic speak first." MaNdlovu shook her head. "The village will talk. The elders will say I am abandoning tradition." Lindiwe took her hand. "Let them talk. You are more important than their opinions." It took 3 days of gentle, persistent conversation. On the 4th morning, MaNdlovu put on her stretched slippers and said, "Fine, take me." The women of the village watched from their doorways. They shook their heads. They clicked their tongues. Gogo Dlamini folded her arms and said it was a waste of petrol. At the clinic 2 hours later, Sister Thembai sat across from MaNdlovu with the results. The swollen feet, the weight loss, the exhaustion, the endless infections that came and never fully left. It was not witchcraft. MaNdlovu was HIV positive. Sister Thembai spoke with dignity and care. "You are not bewitched, Mama, you are sick, and sick people get better with treatment. With medication taken every day you can live, you can grow strong again, your feet can heal." MaNdlovu sat very still for a long time. Then she wept, not just from fear but from the grief of 2 lost years. 2 years of sangomas and strings and rituals when all along there had been medicine. Real medicine, medicine that could have started working 2 years ago. When Lindiwe brought MaNdlovu back to the village that evening, MaNdlovu stood in the center of the yard, straight and dignified, and she spoke. "I have been sick for years with something that has medicine, and I wasted time believing it was a neighbor's curse. It is HIV, and I am going to fight it." The silence that fell over the village was the loudest thing Mthombeni had ever heard. All this time someone whispered, all this time it had a name. Lindiwe stood beside MaNdlovu and spoke to the gathered villagers with love and without arrogance. "I believe in our culture. I believe our elders are wise and our traditions are precious. But our traditions were built to protect us. The clinic is not the enemy of our ancestors. It is another tool for keeping us alive so that we can honor them. How many people in this village have we buried calling it witchcraft? How many had something with a name, something with medicine, and we let them die because we were afraid of what we did not understand?" Nobody answered, because everybody was thinking of someone. In the weeks that followed, something shifted in Mthombeni. MaNdlovu began her treatment, and slowly the swelling in her feet began to go down. Color returned to her face, and the laugh that had gone quiet began to come back, small at first, then fuller, then whole. MaNdlovu lived. She lived to see her grandchildren. She lived to plant her garden again. She lived to laugh her big body-shaking laugh in the red soil morning. A sick person is not a bewitched person. Go to the clinic, know your status. There is no shame in treatment, only in silence.